Hello, this is Malcolm Rose. I have finished out 7 games in a row, all wins, many of which were 15 runes. And it occurred to me, well, I wanted to do a bunch of Artificers because the class is so good, and I could get like Greater Artificer with that, but I'm going to not do that just yet, because it occurred to me that I've done a Minotaur Berserker, but I did it in a speed run, and so the commentary on it, well, first of all, that maybe wasn't even in this streak, but secondly, because it was a speed run, it was like an hour and 4 minutes, so my commentary on it was probably pretty rushed. So if I do a Minotaur Berserker, which is probably the most popular class, well, background and species combination, well, I guess I don't know for sure if it's the most popular, but it's the most iconic. It's very powerful, so we're going to pick that. And I'm going to demonstrate how to win with one slowly, rather than in a speed run, because in a speed run, you do a lot of very risky things in a speed run. Necessarily because you're going to, you're trying to go fast, so you're going to skip floors, you're going to skip a lot of monsters, you're going to skip a lot of experience that way, and on top of that, you're going to fight in ways that are suboptimal because you just don't have the time to make the perfect choice. On top of the fact that you might not make the perfect choice anyway. When you're constrained by time, that's huge. I mean, the coolest thing about this game, if you have a tactical mind and you enjoy slow, if you enjoy games like chess where you have time to think about what's happening, almost infinite time, provided it's not some kind of time limit chess. I'm talking about tactical games where you have as much time as you need to think about what you're doing. Well, Crawl is one of those games. There's nothing that forces you to make a decision right now, in the next 5 minutes, in the next 30 minutes, whatever. You could take a whole day to think about your next move, and that's why, I think that it's a very fun game for that reason. You transform the game when you're doing a speed run into something totally different, or maybe not totally different, but very, very different. So anyway, Minotaur Berserker. Now, which one of these guys is best? Which one of these weapons is best? Well, from the aptitudes, they've got 2 ranks in everything except for short swords. We're not going to pick short swords. And of course, we're not going to pick unarmed combat either. So, a lot of people will pick axe. And they think that's the best. I would disagree. Spear is the best, in my opinion, because of the fact that you get a hit on something before it reaches you. That's enormous. That's a full extra attack. Sometimes several if you're hasted or berserked or something. Axes are only best in speedrunning because you're going to be surrounded a lot. But being surrounded, you don't want to be surrounded. You're making a mistake if you're surrounded. So we're going to go with spear. And we're going to start out by training nothing but fighting and polearms. Most people will train their weapon starting out and nothing else, in my experience, but I think getting the extra hit points from fighting, even if it's minimal, is hugely important because of the chance that you might run into a D3 wand problem. Alright, so I see some arrows. I'm going to pick them up. I don't see myself using arrows, but maybe. Got an interesting entrance here. I see we have 2 ways out now, so that's good. Nope, it's a dead end, so let's open this and hope we don't run into anything we can't handle. Now, as a Mibby, you may be thinking, well, what's possible that we couldn't handle? Well, if I run into an adder, I could berserk, but the reality of the situation is that if I miss a couple times, I could very easily die to that with the 2 AC that I have now. We're going to be wearing some heavy armor as soon as we can. Okay. Still in a straight path right now, which is a little concerning. Okay, we branched out and we found a hobgoblin. It shouted, so let's definitely pull it way back here. Okay, we got him. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why you want to train fighting. I already got 1 more hit point. Every point of health is huge in the early game. Now, you may think, well, you're a Mibby, you don't need to worry about such things. It still matters. I don't want to take those diagonals. I'd rather not be walking down these hallways at all. I was thinking about something the other day, by the way. With these bats, I'm actually curious if keeping bats alive on D1 instead of killing them is a smarter call. And I say that because you can use bats to trip up enemies and force them to be further away from you because of the way that bats move. Okay, we got an ooze here. Pull him back here, throw some rocks, and get the kill. Oops. Now my instinct is actually, I almost want to just train fighting, because there's no guarantee that this spear, that we won't find something way better. And that's kind of making our early game slightly harder in exchange for possible benefits later on. Let's see what our attack speed is. 274.5 goes to 5.4. So we're below 1, so why don't we just train fighting? I know it seems kind of odd, but this is something we can afford to do on a Mibby. You can afford to do it on a lot of other races, but Mibby especially. Okay, so we've lured quite a lot of things here, or we've met with quite a few. I'm going to go ahead and fight here because jackals are faster than me. I'm not going to berserk because I don't know what all is coming. Plus this stuff, I mean, you can see we're just tearing through it. I would have berserked if I thought that there was a real risk. Like if I had started taking some damage, I would have berserked. Alright, we found an axe, but it's just a hand axe. No reason to swap to axes for that. Otherwise I would have just started with an axe. Unfortunately, no armor yet. As soon as we find some big armor, we're going to put it on. Okay, we've got a brass ring. We will not wear that. Don't wear rings unless you're sure that you have some remove curse. Let's walk up to this dude. Yeah, 28 hit points. Pretty good stuff. Once you get really good at this game, like really, really good, you'll start to see berserkers as kind of a free win. I know that's probably hard to fathom if you are the kind of person who hasn't ever had a streak. I don't mean that like condescendingly or anything, but the fact is that there are different skill levels of this game. And barring some really horrible bad luck with wands, and maybe even with bad luck with wands, and shafts and things like that, I don't think it's possible for almost any Mibby to die, unless you make a mistake. A lot of different characters can die in the early game without you making a mistake. Felids, for example. But Mibbies, it would have to be something really, really dumb, like a D3 Centaur with a lightning wand who gets a double zap, or even an acid wand who just proceeds to use it a bunch of times. And even then you would have like a shot you would have a shot at winning. Okay. Nothing we want on this floor. Literally just a club, a hand axe, and a short sword, so not a very interesting D1. Okay, we've got an adder. We could choose to fight him with Berserk, but since I have a choice, I'm not. Now that we have the power of staircases, I'm going to start shouting. Okay. Can pull things to me with shouts. Okay, now, as far as stats go, I am going to give myself a little bit of intelligence because I intend to... I could have probably waited on that, but the thing is I have 4 intelligence. Now that doesn't mean I'm planning on casting spells. I'm not. Trog would get very upset at me. But the thing is that later on, since I'm planning on doing 15 runes with this, I'm going to have to worry about stat damage. And 4 intelligence is just not enough wiggle room. Now you'll notice I'm having a rough time with this worm. But the thing is, he's slower than me, and this is one of the reasons you want to have a spear, is for these guys. They're worth a good amount of experience, and you can just keep walking backwards, stab them, walk backwards, hit, and just keep a gap in between you and them. Okay. I would have berserked there, probably, although it would have been optimal to reset the fight by going upstairs. Okay, we got a corpse. Eat some meat. 35 hit points. Again, we're training nothing but fighting. If you wanted to be optimal in a way that doesn't care about the risk of running into the wand guys, you wouldn't train just fighting. But I'm confident with this. All right, now unfortunately we're very far from a staircase, and we've run into an adder. So what are we going to do? I could start using potions, I could start using scrolls, but on this character, see, on many other characters, this would be insanely rough because, like, what am I going to do? I could, like, well, I would have cleared this door, I guess, beforehand, and I could, like, yeah, I can't really do it. But on Mibby, I just berserk, and it should be fine. Oh man, oh, it's happening. I thought it was happening. We were gonna die to that. Oh, let's walk away. Oh, we're slow. We could throw things at this dude, but I think I'm just gonna walk away, and hopefully the slowness will end. We'll be fine. Yeah, slow ended. What I should have done though is I should have picked this up, dropped it, and close the door. But yeah, you saw me. Let's go back to the log here. And this is why I say adders are best avoided, even on a Mibby where you think that you can't die. I berserk, I'm fast and mighted, I miss, it misses, I miss again, he bites me, I get poisoned, I miss, my headbutt misses, he bites me, I get more poisoned, I hit him once, he's not dead, my headbutt misses. So you see in kind of a trend here, I'm missing a whole lot. Now part of this is because I didn't train my weapon up as far as I could have. I would have more accuracy, I believe, if I had. So that's a little bit on me, but at the same time. Also, I could have used Trog's hand first, which I should have. So a slight misplay there. Okay, I see a quarterstaff, and we have a certain amount of cross-training on staves already. Quarterstaves are really good weapon. Not reach, unfortunately, but possibly good enough to convince me to train staves as my main weapon. That's actually a benefit that Gladiator has over Fighter, or not Fighter, but over Berserker, is that you can start with a staff. Hey, a war axe, that's tempting as well, even if I don't want to use axes. Base damage 11, base accuracy 0. It has a slight edge on quarterstaff as a weapon, but We're going to use the quarterstaff, but I'm not going to train yet. Now, let's go to the last floor real quick, D1. I'm going to try out these stacks here. Scroll of Noise, cool, get rid of that. Scroll of Amnesia, we can just drop that. So unfortunately our stacks weren't anything that we really care about. Okay, I'm looking at the time. I want to see how fast I attack with this. 9.7. Oh, we're still attacking 10.2, so that's, in 1.2 rather, is how much time it takes for us to attack. So let's train a little bit of staves, just enough to get it down to 1, speed 1. But otherwise I'm not going to commit to anything. Now, this guy can only do 12 damage to me, so I'm going to fight him. Yeah. Throw some rocks. Throw a few more rocks. Alright, now, I should have put this on a minute ago, but we found ring mail. That's a good find. Significantly more AC now. Would rather have plate mail, but give it time. Otherwise, unless I wanted to put that war axe on, which I don't just yet, we're going to have to go down to D3. Now this is where things get tough, because we could run into the wands here. The worm did not follow me, oddly enough. See how fast we attack? 8.9. Not quite 1 yet, so kill that. I see a ghost with Sand Blast. We can probably kill him. And we'll get some piety from it. And we can go up if there's a problem and he can't follow us. I'm gonna try a potion, actually. Worst thing it could be... Oh, we have might. I was gonna say the worst thing it could be is lignification, and that would be more than sufficient to kill this dude, so... Let's, okay, we have might up. I'm gonna let him come to me. And I'm just gonna attack him. Okay, that's cool. Got a lot of stave skill. That should be more than sufficient to take us to 1 attack speed. There's always a bit of risk taking on ghosts because it's hard to tell how much damage can they really do, you know, with their spells. Okay, we got an adder. Let's see if we can just kill him without Berserk, and we do. Most characters, that would have been a very rough situation. Of course, I wouldn't be auto-exploring with most characters at this point. Because you see, I auto-explored, I was right here, and there's an adder, and that's just way too rough. So that's the cool thing about Berserker, is that you can do a few more things. A few more things that make the game more convenient. You'll notice I'm always pulling things backwards. Or trying to remember to do that anyway, because that saves me the trouble of fighting whatever's behind him. In this case, there was nothing, but... you know. Okay, we got an orc. We already had his attention. I shouldn't have thrown that rock. Let's pull back, so we don't have to worry about him throwing tomahawks at me anymore, because I just pulled back. I probably should walk away, but I'm gonna assume he's alone. Yeah, he's alone. It might have been smarter for me to sort of go down here and just leave, because an orc can mean that there are orc priests, and we're not in a position where I would like to fight orc priests just yet. I'm gonna get these tomahawks, though. Cool, we found a wand of polymorph, which, frankly is terrible, but we might find a use for it. I don't recommend using wands of polymorph in the general case, though. You'll just get yourself killed. I usually drop them unless I don't have anything else. And I won't train evocations just yet, because there's no guarantee we'll find something more useful. Okay, we got some identify scrolls. Let's open up with identify on potions. Cool, we have heal wounds and haste. Possibly the two most useful and important potions. So that's cool. Let's use the other two stack. I recommend you always use your scrolls in the beginning of the game at least until you find identify and remove curse. Once you have a 2 stack of them. Pull this thing back. Oh, hey, a magic shield. See, this is the kind of reason why I'm not using my, not necessarily using my, or training my weapons to the fullest extent yet, because I might find something cool like an enchanted shield. Now, I am not going to try that on because it could be cursed, and I don't have curse identified yet. That's one of the biggest things you can do for yourself, is delay gratification when it comes to wearing things. Because imagine if you like wear a, I don't know, if you wear like a crossbow, and it happens to be cursed, and then you don't have any bolts, you're really out of luck at that point in a lot of ways. Like, you can switch to throwing, I suppose, or evocations maybe if you have a lot of wands, but for the most part in the early game that's a really bad idea. Or if I put on one of these rings and it was teleportitis, and there's just a lot of ways it can go wrong. So don't wear things unless you have remove curse. Now, we have a sewer on this floor. Let's see if we can't hunt it down. I'm notoriously bad at this. I'm holding shift when I move. If you see me moving quickly, that keeps things from, like, it'll stop if I run into an enemy. Okay, this is rough. Yeah, this is rough. This guy can poison me for quite a lot of damage. But we have heal wounds, we have haste, we have might. Let's just duke it out with him. If I can avoid it, I don't want to haste, or rather, I don't want to berserk, because, unless I'm on a staircase or something like that, because the thing is that if more stuff comes, and more stuff comes, and more stuff comes, eventually I'm just going to pass out. However, this dude we will berserk and fight. Slow rusting of a distant drain, so it's a distant from here. Okay, I'm going to berserk, and I'm going to fight him, and if I start to take too much damage, I'm going to go upstairs. Oh yeah, easy enough. Let's give myself one more point of intelligence. Oh, I'm going to stay on the staircase till my... Okay, slow's gone. So it's distant at this staircase. Let's see what happens if we move in a general northerly direction. But hey, it turns out we've already found it. You can tell from this sort of stinky looking water here. You never see this water anywhere else in the game, as far as I know, the green water, except for in a sewer. I'm going to grab this ring. A lot of rings. I'll go inside here. I am not going to read this 2-stack here because it could be teleport. You always want to read your scrolls somewhere else. Now, when it comes to these portal vaults, and vaults in general, it does help to have an idea of what you're facing. I know by the layout what this is going to be. It's rats. And I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, there are going to be little houses to the left and right. Yeah, with kobolds inside. And there could be big kobolds as well, although there wasn't in this case. I'm going to pick up this short Sword of Flaming, because when it comes to Hydras, any flaming weapon that's edged can cut off heads. So even though short swords are kind of crappy, well, can short swords not do it? Maybe they can't. All long blades, all axes, all two-handed polearms, cutlass, and unarmed if you have claws. Well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe short swords are more of a stabbing weapon. I mean, you can stab with them for sure. They are a short blade, but maybe I'll find it in the short sword entry. Doesn't chop Hydra heads. Okay, I was wrong. So we're not going to use that. We're not even... I mean, I'll check it and see if it's enchanted. It's only +1. It's not worth using, in my opinion. So we'll leave that behind. Fight off all these rats, some of which will be river rats. Go inside. Here's our big kobold. None of them have enchanted weapons. If they did, I would want to check on that. Okay, I ended up berserking because I was having a rough time in the melee. Okay, now there is another side of this. I forget if there's more houses on the other side. Oh, okay, we've got an adder. Now, I could try to polymorph it, but I think I'm just going to berserk. And then we'll just stand. This is a huge thing. If you're forced to use berserk, or if you do use berserk for whatever reason, and you should shy away from using berserk unless it's necessary, but once you use berserk, well, you're going to be slow afterwards. So you want to go to a safe spot, like a staircase or an exit in this case, and wait off the slow. The worst thing you can do to yourself is just keep going after you're done being slow, because you're just setting yourself up to be in a really rough position in the next fight. Okay, we probably... Oh boy, this was a bad place to berserk. I thought I had killed all the rats, but I didn't. Then again, I knew that there's nothing but rats in here, so even if I'm slowed, it's not a huge deal if a couple more are left. As far as I know, the kobolds, well, no, there was an adder, so that could have been bad. But we also have haste, we have might, we have ways of dealing with post-berserk problems. Okay, we've got some kobolds with curare. Why don't we go ahead and just fight these dudes? Now here's a scarf, and I'm gonna wear it even though I don't have that remove curse available. I don't think there's any such thing as a curse scarf that's like negative. The worst thing would have been that was cursed but didn't do much for me, like cloud immunity, and that's no big deal. We got Spirit Shield, which is amazingly good. We also have curare now, and a blowgun. So, oh my god, these needles are a tremendous find. Not so much on a Mibby, since we're Mibby, so we're very, very strong anyway, but I'm going to train a little bit of throwing, because throwing's good anyway. But, oh wow, and he's already giving me ammunition, which is more curare. Curare is awesome. I can slow things with it, I can poison things with it, I can do both at the same time. Cool, found a lot of items. And we'll carry poison needles as well, I guess. But we're not going to rely only on throwing, but I don't know, maybe. Trog does give ammunition, so he's just as good as Oka in that regard. It's just that he only gives weapons as other gifts, so the thing is that you're kind of selling yourself short just a little bit, probably, if you go pure throwing. Okay, while we're here, okay, we found the teleport, which I'm unhappy that I don't have remove curse identified, but I also... well, this is uncursed. We can see that it's uncursed, so we'll put that on B, we'll put V on A. But yeah, I would like to try out my rings, and that shield. Okay. We're going to pull this orc away. And, you know, I'm going to be smart this time, especially now that I'm on D4, and I'm going to pull him all the way back here. And that's because he could have orc priests behind him. This is the smartest thing you can do in these situations. It looks like he didn't, but you don't want to be fighting orc priests in a not advantageous way. Okay, we run out of food, so we're just going to eat a fruit. Again, we see an orc, so we pull back. I see more orcs. They've seen me, so we pull them back. Yeah, orc wizards are not a huge deal for us because we have Trog's Hand. I mean, really nothing is a huge deal for us as a troglodyte. But that's not to say you shouldn't try to play carefully just because you're worshipping Trog. Hey, this guy has an enchanted trident, but it could be a penalty. It's definitely not a brand. Brands are always identified now when you see them in the hands of an enemy. Okay. Let's go down. Alright, we're going to stay on the staircase and fight this stuff. We'll just throw rocks. I have my tabs set up to throw first rather than moving towards enemies. That's not the default behavior. But it is superior on most combos, on most characters. Unfortunately, this has been an extraordinarily easy early game. I was kind of hoping that we would get some rough challenges on this. Well, as rough as things can get for a Mibby. Something like Sigmund or Grinder or a bunch of Orc Priests, something. I haven't had a chance to really show off some advanced tactics, other than remaining near stairs when possible. Okay, we found youth. I guess we could use his staff. All right. We found Doan. We can kill Doan pretty easily. His sister is mad now. Oh, wand of random effects. I'm gonna start training some evocations. One thing, I probably should have been doing that already, and the reason is, okay, so I have two wands. They're not amazing. They're kind of the bad wands, these two. They have their uses, but they're not great. But the reason I should have been training evocations is evocations gives you magic. I'm wearing a Scarf of Spirit Shield, meaning that my hit points get pulled out of my magic instead sometimes. Like, I think it's half and half. So having more magic is the same as having more hit points. So evocations makes my character stronger, but it also makes my character more defensive. Uh-oh, so we've auto-explored into Duvessa, and she's real mad. I could polymorph her, but who knows what she'd turn into. I could berserk, I could teleport. Just in the interest of playing it safe, I am going to teleport, because my defenses are not great. Even if she only has a short sword, she can still do pretty good damage. And I don't think that she's capable of berserking more than once. Okay, we found the temple, but we're already worshipping Trog, so... Man, still no armor beyond leather, or beyond ringmail. A little surprising, but it can happen. Okay, so there she is again. And she can't berserk anymore, so as long as you have teleport, you can take on Doan and Duvessa very, very easily. Just remember to kill Doan first, because otherwise you're going to have to deal with Icicle forever, and that sucks. And we got her. Now we are going to kill you if... Oh, hey, it's our first centaur. Suppose we could go bows, but that seems a little bit odd on a troglodyte, since you can't really use berserk. Plus, we're already training throwing, so let's not do that. Now, we have enough hit points that the no-brainer here seems to be to just move forward. If I was a little more worried about my hit points, I might use Trog's Hand. I'm going to go ahead and berserk. Whoa. Oh, okay. We berserked, moved forward towards them, and hit a teleport trap, so that could have been bad. I feel like a teleport trap on this floor really sucks. Okay, he has a 40% chance to confuse me. Normally I would Trog's Hand, but I have so many potions, I think I'm just going to try to swing on him. Even when I'm confused, I can hit him up. But yeah, I wonder if that teleport trap can teleport you into the flame. That would have been nasty. Okay, let's try Berserk again. Okay, easy enough. Now we've got Youth to deal with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the door, and then I'm going to walk away. Now there's 2 or 3 spaces in between us. We don't want him to attack me. If he... Oh. Okay, well I did something really stupid. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and I walked into a dead end. That's okay. We can save this. We don't want him to attack me with that staff. So I used Polymorph on him. He's now a wolf. We can kill that pretty easily. If that had failed, I probably would have read Teleport. But yeah, don't do that. Pay attention to where you're going, and you won't have that problem. But yeah, if he attacks you with the Quarterstaff of Chaos, you could get paralyzed. You could get banished. Neither of those things are good. Okay, I would rather have Spirit Shield than another few AC. We're going to wear the Quarterstaff of Chaos, and we'll see how that treats us. Got Identify here. I'll identify these potions here. It's Brilliance. We're going to turn that off and drop it. We have a 2-stack. I use it, and it turns out to be Fear. And so we go down. We also could have Cure RA'd him, but there was no guarantee that would work either. Like, I'll just show you Cure RA real fast since I have a ton of it. This is amazing. If it hits. Come on. There we go. So he gets slowed and poisoned at the same time. It's outrageous. Let's do it to this guy as well, because he had an electric weapon. Oh man. Okay, well, I kind of wanted to avoid the whole stereotypical Axis thing, but if I find a weapon of electrocution, I'm an idiot if I don't use it, unless there's something else on the board that's good, so we'll train nothing but axes. I can't complain. I'm acting like I'm upset that I found an electric weapon, but I'm not. But don't take this to mean that I think axes are the best weapon. Just happens to be a very good brand. And even on a hand axe, it's a good brand. It's just really good. Okay, we got some whites here. Why don't we're kind of fighting a lot of things at once here, so why don't we move back to the stairs? Worker Ant's a little faster than me, but that's fine. Berserk on the stairs, as usual. Let's get this hand axe down to Mendeley. We're training nothing but axes until 14. Whoa! Alright, so we auto-explored into Minotaur, and of course he's got Torment. However, he moves slowly. As long as he doesn't haste himself, we are faster than him. So let's just walk away from all that. Okay, he hasted, but I think he's still only as fast as us. Maybe not. Well, I can always teleport. Okay, we're fine. I'm gonna take a look at him. He is... Oh, by the way, if you are new, map mode, Shift X, and then I can hit the right bracket button to map myself down here. I'm not actually down here, it's just map mode. And then I can move the cursor over to the thing I want to see. It'll leave these little echoes. Hit V, and you can examine what's going on. Yeah, I just wanted to see if he was resistant to lightning, and he's not. I'm going to choose to not fight him. At least not. I mean, I'm going to kill him, but I'm going to do it in a more defensive way than just running down and berserking. We're gonna go down the other staircase that's nearby to him. We're gonna shout to get his attention. Hopefully he hears us. He does. Now we're safe on here. If he torments me, I just go up. If he pains me for a lot of damage, I just go up. So we're gonna use Wand of Random Effects. We use Bolt of Poison, he resists it, and he hits me with Torment. So we go up, no problem. Can't kill me. Okay, so he's back here. We'll just Random Effects again. We got Flame. I'm gonna go up and come down the other staircase because he's a little too close for my taste. Oh man, he's close again. Let's go up. This is not exactly ideal for resetting fights. Okay, that didn't quite work. I'm getting things that just don't do damage to him. Gonna keep shouting. See, the reason I want to take him out, normally I would just say, whatever, go to the next floor or explore the rest of the floor, but he has the ability to take a huge chunk off of our hit points, so I don't... God, I'd really not like to have him just lying around here, you know. But it looks like I have no choice. And of course, Curare is not going to do anything for us against the mummy, since he is immune to poison. That's fine. We'll just teleport if we have a real big issue with him. Although I don't recommend relying on teleport in the general case, since it can plop you down right next to what you were previously fighting. Got an invisible orc here. I may have to berserk. Oh, we're confused. It's a good opportunity for me to identify some things. Agility, curing, okay. Nice. Good, the bear did not berserk. Let's give ourselves another point of intelligence. Needles of Confusion, those are nice to see. I think that we can fight Edmund, but let's fight him one at a time. He had a potion of haste, no big deal. We could have berserked if that went south. Adders are no big deal now, although I would like some better armor. In fact, come to think of it, we found some scale mail and some chain mail. I should be using that. Now hold on, D6 is where we found Minotaur, and he's still here somewhere, so let's re-explore the level. There he is. Take a step onto the staircase, and we'll use random effects again. Oh yeah! Fireball's good to see. We got probably the best things we could have asked for. Which was throw flame and then like 2 fireballs. He's, of course, vulnerable to fire. So pull the this hound up. We like to fight things 1 or 2 at a time. I'm going to pull this up for sure. These guys can be kind of dangerous. He can do 20 damage to me with the power of his ice. So why don't we Berserk? Treat him like the big threat that he is. Safe on a staircase anyway, so... Well, I guess I shouldn't say it was safe there. I mean, he can follow us up the staircase, but we're fine. Wear these gloves. It's cursed, but it's worth AC, so I'm fine. Alright, we've run into one of the early game threats that kills a lot of young adventurers, which is a bunch of bees. Now we're in a situation where we can very easily get to a hallway. So why don't we just do that? I'm going to swing here, take a step back. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about avoiding getting poisoned here. However, I have curing potions. I'm just going to fight a bit, one at a time. If I get too poisoned, I'm going to drink curing. I could use Trog's Hand. Actually, this is going south enough that I want to drink curing, and I want to use Trog's Hand. So now I'm regenerating every turn. Spent a little bit of piety on that, but I have so much curing that I don't really mind this. The regen was just kind of to counteract any minor poisoning we get. Okay, so we fought them one at a time, and they all died. Well, except for this one. Now he's dead too. Electric Brand is awesome. Now, if I had been a little more worried about that, I could have used Curare or Poison Needles. That might have been superior, because those things are susceptible to poison. So keep that in mind. Pretty much every insect is susceptible to poison. Actually, I'm gonna poison him with regular needles. Really no reason for me not to use my regular needles. I have so many of them. Yeah, no particularly big challenges yet. Exploding tomahawks. Those can be minorly useful in the early game. Okay, we'll go to D8. Let me just take a quick look real fast. Armor. Other than that enchanted glowing robe, nothing terribly interesting. Let's go up. Eat this flesh. Okay, we have a 2-stack. It's immolation. Another good reason not to use things next to monsters or on unexplored floors. If you were to accidentally immolate the things around you, that could be very, very bad. Okay, this thing is immune to electricity, but we still kill it just with the axe. It's fine. Well, we've got a unique robe, and I gotta tell you, I don't care enough to try and find out what that is, because it's just a robe, and we are a Trog worshiper. However, this MR scale mail is nice to see. We're gonna wear that. Not that we terribly need MR. I mean, we've got Trog's Hand, which is incredible. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is a big threat. Now, snakes kind of run the gamut from susceptible to poison to resistant to poison. Moccasins are resistant. So I'm going to try to use Needles of Confusion, which... Oh yeah, we got them. Let's just use Exploding Tomahawks. Oh man, I'm going to have to just whack him. That's fine, we one-shotted him with electricity, but I was a little bit concerned there, you know, since that's pretty big damage. Okay, we can fight all this stuff, we can tab all that. Normally we would back up to fight all that stuff on a character that's not this strong, but I mean on a troglodyte with access to an electrocution weapon, this is kind of a cakewalk. These howler monkeys can call enemies to them by shouting and making a lot of noise, but no big deal. Let's wear the plate mail. Again, we don't prize MR as much as I usually do on this character because we have Trog's Hand. If needed. Okay, a two-headed ogre. Oh, man. This could have been really bad. He could have, if he had met us in the wrong position, we could have gotten hit, possibly even died. Which is one of the reasons I say that you probably shouldn't auto-explore unless you have at least 100 hit points and a blink scroll. Or, I guess we have fear. But let's do the math, actually. 15 plus 20 is 35. Giant Club is another 20, so 55. And then we'll say 75 from the Great Mace, so roughly 75 damage. So this is fine. I'm going to burn spell books, and then I'm going to Berserk. This is not totally safe, but he should die to the fire before he can kill me. And he did. Now, the totally optimal thing to do there would have been to back away, and to kill him with Curare. In fact, yeah, I'm a little disappointed in myself. I should have done that. Mistakes were made. Let's Curare this dude, though. He can die to that. Two-headed ogres are your biggest threat, probably, at this point in the game. Oh, wow. Artifact Broad Axe. Am I going to end up using a Broad Axe again? I'm going to wear this even though it might suck. And we might... I mean, how bad could it really be? Okay, cursed +1 electric, so it's strictly better. It is cursed, but it's a Broad Axe. Okay, a Hornet. This is really bad because it could paralyze us. The only guaranteed way out of this is to teleport, but I don't want to use teleport. I'm going to use Fear, which is reasonably guaranteed to work. We're going to swap to... Well, we're going to... Jeez. Okay, let me get out of here. Not being able to swap is kind of a big deal because I can't use my blowgun. Blowgun's really good against Hornet. Okay, go to this floor. I'm sure that we have Remove Curse by now. There it is. I'm going to try these rings on. I'm going to wear this shield. I'm going to take off the shield for now. Okay, let's wear Pro Cold and +2 Slaying. Okay, things are looking up. Now this is not an endgame weapon, but it is something that we might use for a long while. Okay, I'm going to switch to... Whoops. I'm going to switch to this blowgun, and we're going to try to get some Curare on this dude. And we got it. Now he is susceptible to poison, so he should take quite a lot from this, and he's slowed, so he just dies. Cool. Check the shop one more time. Okay, yeah, it's just weapons. I don't care about those other two artifacts for now. Later, I might check them for Tella. Minus Tella. Okay, cool. We should be seeing the lair soon. Which is where I will stop this video. I see that there's this vampire. The worst he can do to us is confuse. Let's throw a tomahawk at him and see if I can't kill him while confused. Yeah, we got him. I like to avoid using resources if I can, if I'm not in too much danger. And in this situation where I have 6 curing potions, I'm not in that much danger. Okay, skill level 18 for Mendeley on this. Hey, our first Orc Priest. You'll see that we pulled back so he couldn't see me. So that he couldn't just smite me. Cool. Okay, here he is again, another one. Do the same thing. This one was smart enough to sort of move in a way that stymied me, so I just moved back further. Nothing he can really do except pop out here and get killed. We found Orc before we found Lair, which is actually not uncommon. And we found a battle axe on this Orc, but it's unbranded and we have an electric broadaxe, so... let's random effects this guy. If he gets... yeah, I was going to say if he gets hasted, it's not a huge deal. Same thing. He got paralyzed. Cool. Can always use resources to leave if necessary, although I don't recommend doing that in the general case. I should be relying more on Curare than anything. Speaking of which, I'm going to Curare, and hopefully it goes through. Good, it does. Do it again. Do it again. He's as sick as possible, and he's going to die. Cool. Yeah, two-headed ogres are like... They're in this weird intersection between free experience and it's extraordinarily deadly. Because if you're a ranged character, like at all, they're free experience. But if they're... you know, if you're not, or if you get an unlucky auto-explorer, if you're auto-exploring, which you shouldn't be in most cases, very bad things can happen. Okay, easy enough for me to poison this dude. I'll even curare him once. Oh, that didn't quite work. Try again. Cool, we got him. Almost 18 axes. Now, you don't have to rush to Mendeley like I'm doing. I prefer it on a character like this where I know I can survive. Okay, this is a little rough. Let's take a step, take another step. We would rather be close to the centaur and not getting lightning. I'm going to use Trog's hand because this is a little bit rough. Go up here. Let's get next to the centaur. I don't really want to berserk because I don't know what all is coming. I'm just going to swing, and if I need to, I'll use healing. Okay, cool, no problem. Yeah, that's the cool thing about having really high weapons training this early is that you can kill just about anything. Oh, we're being hit by... I'm going to make a note to copy that. I'm going to copy and paste that into my RC as the something hits you should flash and also force more. Anyway, let's go into a hallway and kill that. You can hold control and hit a direction to attack even when you can't see anything. Curare or just regular blowgun needles kill these things nice and easily. Just have to get a couple stacks on it. I'll just rest. Feel more experienced, feel more experienced. Cool. I will pull this into a hallway. Whoa. Another one of these things. Why don't we just clear this off with flame? Dies very easily to the steam clouds. And I'm going to flame this as well. Since we're reaching the part of the game where flame's usefulness kind of dies off a bit. Oops, another electric eel. Why don't we poison this dude? Looks as sick as possible. So he'll be taking damage from both me and the curare, or the poison, I mean to say. Curare is specifically the one that slows and poisons at the same time. We're saving that for big threats. Okay, this should die. Yeah, there we go. A little bit poisoned. How did I get slowed? Oh, it was the Orc Wizard. Okay, let's take a step in that case. This way the Centaur can't hit me. I'm going to wait one turn, I'm going to wait another turn, and then we'll kill them that way. Got some silver javelins here. We'll probably just use them as regular javelins. Got some poison on him. Okay, I'm gonna curare this guy. And he just dies to 2 curares and a poison needle. Or at least he should. Yep, he's dead. Okay, I see slime creatures. Those are a bit rough at this point in the game. As long as it's just one at a time, we should be fine. Maybe. Yep, there we go. I want to take out the last eels. I mean, there have been a ton of eels here. Just like way too many. Oh, I'm using... Whoops! I need to have the confusing needles marked as no fire. I'll do that here in a second. I just was like automatically using them. Let's inscribe with exclamation point F. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm also going to inscribe the curare with exclamation point F because I don't want to waste them as the thing. I am going to use a curare on this guy though. The problem is he's just so defensive, so evasive. Okay, he's slowed. I'll just duke it out. Cool. They're very easy to kill. They're very much glass cannons is the thing. I have my auto explore set to not go on this water, so I have to do this manually. Okay, got a slime creature here. Let's pull him back to where I'm reasonably sure there's nobody else, and we'll just kill him. Javelins of returning, I like to see that. Surprised I'm not full on inventory yet, considering everything that I'm hoarding. Okay, we're gonna drop the Book of Misfortune because it has Yaras in it, and if I do end up leaving Trog, I'm gonna want Yaras. Otherwise, we'll burn the books. Jeez. So much damage. Yeah, these work a lot better if you have a little more throwing. We only have 4 ranks, which is not quite enough to do what I'm trying to do. Look, he's as sick as possible, so he should die. Corpse? Nope. We're starving. Eat some fruit. Let's walk up and just kill this. Oh, he has a wand, but it's just flame. We're fine. Have a nice healthy collection of wands now. I'm gonna reset this. I'd rather not fight something that can do 44 damage to me in one hit. Okay, let's pull this dude by himself. Fight resetting doesn't stop being important just because you're playing a Trog Worshipper. Oh jeez, they're gonna merge. Maybe not. I want to leave and reset this fight, but why don't we just... I could use lightning, but really I just want to fight this dude by himself. Yep, they merged. That's fine. Close the store. They can't open doors. Reset the fight again. Whoops, I didn't want to go to D1. Yeah, even a single one of these things can really mess up your day. Okay. Okay. That's D10. We've had a little bit of bad luck. Lair didn't spawn until D11. Although we had the option of doing Orc early if we wanted to. Remember, we have MR++ if we want it. Okay, this guy's tough. Let's see if we can get a Curare on him. We get it? Now we're going to throw Silver Javelins for extra damage. He can do so much damage, though, with that lightning. I'm going to Berserk and duke it out with him. If he's slow and we're berserked, that means he's slow and we're hasted, so we're getting like 3 or 4 times the number of attacks as him, so it's pretty reasonable to assume you're going to win in a situation like that. But don't underestimate these ugly things. You know what? I'm going to throw the book on top of him, and I'm going to burn spellbooks. Got the Curare now. Okay, cool. Alright, this guy has large rocks. Unfortunately, I can't throw a large rock because I'm Minotaur. We're just going to duke it out with him. With, oh right, we teleported him with random effects. I'll Berserk on this guy. Should be fine. Almost got access to Mendeley. Okay, in this case I will move towards him and attack. Usually I walk away from priests, but if there's not like a convenient place for me to... I mean, if he's already really close, it doesn't matter, but if there's not a... Also, if there's not a convenient place for me to block loss... There was one there, but it can't happen that there's not, at which point it's better to just walk away sometimes. Okay, let's walk away from this guy. We've got a pretty good engagement spot here. Let's Curare him. He's slow. I'm gonna go in for the engage. Cool, got him. There's another one. Let's slow this one as well. Wow, I'm gonna Berserk. Again, if he's slow and I'm fast, it's not terribly risky. And we found the lair. Almost 100 hit points. We have our 18 axes. I'll train it a little bit more. Well, no, it's fine. It's just cross-training that has it pushed up, so that's fine. It's 18. So what to do? I don't want to necessarily stick with this broadaxe for much longer. because who knows what Trog is going to gift me. He might gift me a really nice Executioner's Axe soon. So I'm not going to devote myself to shields just yet. I'm going to train fighting, armor, and dodging. And we'll just get really defensive. We'll train evocations as well. That'll give us more hit points effectively via the scarf. We don't need magic for anything, so it's perfectly valid to do on this character. I almost want to train, I almost want to go hog wild and just like train all this stuff. It's a bit stretched, but most of it's in the positives, so not really. Yeah, we'll do all this stuff, and we'll just move from there. The only thing in Lair that could really cause us any kind of a problem at all is maybe spiny frogs, and of course hydras if we go about fighting them stupidly. But with hydras we've got an answer in the form of Wand of Lightning, which we will identify when we get a chance. We've also got the ability to throw things at them, javelins. We've got Berserk, which we don't really want to rely on. We don't want to be in melee with a Hydra just yet. And we have Brothers in Arms. Brothers in Arms is really good, but we don't really want to use it. We want to keep our piety up if possible. So Hydras are the only thing I'm terribly concerned about. If we find some more books, we could burn some at their feet. That's doable, I guess. I'm gonna turn off this food real fast, save myself some inventory management in the future. Okay, but yeah, that's early game. Maybe, hopefully that's helpful to you. If you haven't won a game yet, then maybe it's a good place to start. I probably should have explained a few more of the things I was doing with. Well, the biggest thing I think that new people don't know is there's just certain things you can do with hotkeys that some people don't know is possible. Like if you're throwing a rock, you know, and I want to throw it somewhere that I can't actually. Well, actually, I should do a better example. If I'm doing like a wand, it only has so much range. Let me go into a big room to demonstrate this. I think Wand of Lightning is in full range. Yeah. So it only goes this far, right? And if I do that and I hit enter, I don't think it'll work. Because it's like, oh, it's out of range. But if, well, like here, these are both out of range. But you see, these two slots are changing based on which position it's in out of range. So why does that matter? Well, you can actually zap in one of those two squares if you hit the exclamation point rather than enter. And that's one of those things that people, like, for a long time I didn't know that was possible until somebody told me. Or I read it somewhere on a forum or something. And there's just minor things like that that will make your game better, I think it's easy to overlook things like that or to miss them because the game is just, I mean, intimidatingly, I mean, look at all this crap. Like, the game is intimidatingly big when it comes to stuff you can do, or even like map mode. Most people, I think, who just start have no idea that you could place an exclusion or what that even does, or all this cool stuff you can do in map mode that lets you get a tactical view of things, you know? So, that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, next time we will go into the lair, we'll clear the lair, hopefully with no trouble, and we'll go from there. Until then, I'm signing off.